Hello everyone. So I've discovered this amazing new bug that's gonna revolutionize all of scrap mechanic. It's crazy how good it is. You can do so many things with it, and throughout this video I'm gonna show you everything about it. This bug was actually discovered by both me and Skylar. So make sure to check out her YouTube channel. It's gonna be put in the description. They make great videos. Go check them out. In today's episode, I'm joined by Giroeno. Say hi.
Hello.
We'll show you how to make this glitch later in the video, but first I just want to show you the basics of how it works. So the idea is we have two separate creations, but when I press this button, it still lights up. So as you can tell, these two creations are not connected at all. You shouldn't be able to do this type of connections. But we've had wireless previously in Scrap Mechanic as well. Though the cool thing about this is I'm now able to place down a new lamp and still hook this up. And both of these are gonna work just as well. There's another cool thing with this bug, which is you're able to move both creations on your lift, which previously hasn't been possible with any of the wireless glitches. So if we try to move this part to somewhere else, you can see the connection stay and only this part moves. But if we try to move this part, then both of them come along, which is both strange and also really useful. There are plenty of other uses as well. Like over here we have a water gun, and it's just the gun itself, but as soon as we press the switch, it starts shooting a bunch of water. The way this is done is because we have a water container really far away. There's no water even close to this station, but that's no issue because we can all just link it up wirelessly, and it still somehow works. This can be really useful if you don't have any water nearby your base or location, because we can just place a pump really far over there. So over here we have a platform, and right now it's just a seat. It's nothing useful really. But as soon as we move this, we get 3 cars stuck to it. And that's because when two things are connected with each other, if you move one side, then you move one part, but if you move the other part, then you move all of it at once. What's cool about wireless is now, for example, we're able to drive it without it being connected to the car, so you can just drive this however far away we want. And the reason we have so many logic gates on this creation is because I'm able to press different buttons and control different cars. Like, can you just imagine how useful this might be in a survival world? You can have transportation systems, you can have different chests and railways and trains going between stations, sending items. You can make shops, and all the items people trade in will directly go to your base. You can make so many things with this. Let's move on to a creative world and show you how the bug works. So everything we need to do this glitch is just one block of your choice, one piston, and any way to activate the piston, and that's it. So to start off, we can place down a piston anywhere, in any direction. We place down a block on the piston, we place down anything to activate the piston and hook it up. So all we have to do is activate the piston, place down one block, and then drag the block above the base of the piston. It has to be one block above the piston exactly. If I try inside the piston, doesn't work. If I try 2 blocks above, doesn't work. It has to be one block above the base. So let's drag this, it turns green, and then I just release. And now I can break these blocks I just placed down. I can also break this block and the switch. And as you can tell, we now have a separate block that just fell off, but they're still connected. And you can tell they're connected because when you hover your lift above this block, both of them turn white. You can also tell when I hover my lift above this, there's an invisible piston. And I think what's happening is this block still thinks that this piston is connected to the block, but it's kind of like uncertain, and it's really strange. This can also be used as a duplication bug, because if I broke this block, I would get a piston back, and then I could break this block too and also get another piston back. So I'm basically duplicating my pistons. You can also do this glitch another way. This time you need less things. All you need is a block and a suspension. To do it this way, all you do is just place down a few blocks, place down your suspension, build up blocks to the top of the suspension, so I can place a block on this wall and it still gets placed on the suspension. The last step is to make the suspension one strength. And then if we hover above the suspension on the block, you can see it turns green. So we place down a block, and it's gonna sink down, but if I want to place another block in the same place, it's still green. So I place a block here, and you can see the original block just dropped down. And this is now also a glitched block. Now we have 2 glitched blocks apparently. Okay, now that the glitch is working, we have these magic blocks that are wirelessly connected. If I now place down a switch and a lamp on the block, I should be able to connect them up just like that. And it still works, even though this is not connected at all. So if you have a house or some type of object that is welded to the ground, you're able to just magically disconnect it from the ground and move it on your lift to some other location. As you can see, this creation is stuck to the ground. I can't put it on my lift, I can't move it. And if this was a real house, then it would be really annoying to have to destroy the entire base. If you want to unattach this from the ground, even in survival, it works in survival. So if you just make a simple wireless glitch using piston, switch, hookup switch, block on piston, block 1 block above the base of the piston. So if I now try to weld the part with the piston on it to the house, once I welded that onto the house, I'm unable to weld this, but that's because I'm the host, but Gereno is a client, so he should be able to weld this onto the house. And then the house becomes loose by magic reasons that we can't explain. And you're now able to move this house on your lift. You can bring it anywhere you want and just re-weld it onto the ground somewhere else. And that's how you're able to move your house. Now that you know how to do this glitch, you should be able to make almost anything that your imagination can come up with. But there are a few notes that you need to be careful of. So the first issue is only the host is able to make wireless connections. I can easily drag across these two, but if Gereno was to try to, then he wouldn't see the second dots. Only the host can drag. The second issue is if I place any block above the piston, it's gonna stop, it's gonna delete the wires. But it's still not broken. As you can see, when I hover over this, they both become white. And to fix this, you have to do something really strange. You just place down a bearing, place down a block on the bearing, and then you can delete them again. And now you should be able to connect them once again. Also, when you log out of the world and log back in, the connections are going to be broken, so you can't just keep the wires wireless after leaving your world. But it's still really cool to test with, and you can have races with your friends, and you can still build and all of that. Another issue is if we place this on my lift, then when I try to save this and load it back in, they're still gonna spawn the same way, but they're now not connected anymore. Even if I were to place down a bearing and a block, it still wouldn't work because these are not magically connected. I'm really excited to see what all of you are gonna make with this. Please share your creations and send them to me. Join our Discord server in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
You're getting attacked!
Oh my god!